been a season chock full of bad injury update after bad injury update. The Niners finally have some huge trends moving in the right direction. I'm going to tell you all about that in this video. Hit subscribe if you're looking for 49ers content like this. Appreciate you guys to the moon and back for doing that. You guys are awesome. Let's jump straight into it, starting with today's question, which is, how are you feeling knowing that Brock Purdy is back in the lineup this Sunday? How does that change it for you? Does it make you feel better about the team? Does it make you feel worse about the team? I hope that's not the case. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments on that one. Of course, right now, I literally just got done listening to Kyle Shanahan's update, which just happened a few moments ago. And, he's feeling excited about Brock Purdy being back in the lineup. The reporters tried to get a little bit of sauce out of him, and they couldn't get it. But what they did get is a head coach who's really excited to have Ricky Pearsall and Brock Purdy back in the lineup. Let's kind of start there. We'll work with that, and we'll keep going from there. So we, of course, learned yesterday. This all happened after I recorded yesterday's video, so I'm catching you up a little bit for those of you that are not paying close attention. But Brock Purdy practiced yesterday after his aggressive practice on Wednesday. Everything's moving in the right direction. Things are good there. We heard Greg Cosell go on Willard and Dibs on Wednesday, being asked about whether or not it's a big deal that Brock Purdy plays. This is what he said. Right now, the 49ers offense is very condensed, which I think makes Mac Jones's numbers a little deceptive. He's played very well for what he is. The longest pass play was 22 yards. There's no real verticality in that pass game. So basically saying Brock Purdy is going to bring a little bit of something else. There's going to be, and I'm going to prepare you for this, just a heads up, right? Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan wants him to do this. He's gonna try some deep balls now and then, and those could end up being intercepted. Brock Purdy does not have a laser of an arm, so some of those deep balls, secondary can have time to adjust, to react based on where the pass is going, etc. You know how that works, but it also opens up the passing game, which we desperately need. Aiyuk isn't great either, by the way, which is another reason it's good. But remember what Brock Purdy is, right? He's an efficient quarterback. He's a quarterback that people look at him and they're like, yeah, he's a system quarterback. Why? Because he's executing the system really well. And when it's all going right for the 49ers under Brock Purdy, it looks like you can point to a lot of different people and say, that's why. You can point to Purdy and say, look at how great they're playing. It's because of Purdy. You can point to the player and say, look how great they're playing because of George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, etc. You can look at the coach and say, look how great they're playing because of Kyle Shanahan. And you're all right, and you're all falling short of the bigger picture, which is all of them combined is what makes this offense great. Reality Check says David Lombardi yesterday, since Brock Purdy entered the NFL in 2022, he's led the league in efficiency and success rate. Number 2 is Josh Allen. Number 3 is Patrick Mahomes, just to kind of round that whole thing out for you. So Brock Purdy trending up, trending in the right direction. Brock Purdy, I saw this this morning from John Chapman. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Ricky Pearsall have only played together one single quarter in 2025 this season so far. That's pretty crazy when you think about it, right? It obviously makes sense because George Kittle goes down in the first game. Brock Purdy goes down after the first game, essentially, finishes out the game despite being injured. And you're looking at a team that has had Christian McCaffrey healthy for all of these games, been massively helpful in the passing game, hugely, hugely important in the passing game. And you've still been missing your star quarterback for the vast majority of that. You did get Christian McCaffrey, or you got Brock Purdy back for the one game against Jacksonville. He wasn't ready to come back, but everyone thought he was going to be ready. And you had Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy, but you didn't have George Kittle. And so anyway, everybody's coming back together. This is a great trend. Speaking of that, let's talk about Ricky Pearsall, by the way, who has not had any setbacks today either. John Lynch talked about Ricky Pearsall yesterday, said this: Ricky gives us something different. He gives us explosiveness at the receiver position. He gives us speed, the ability to get down the field, and he's a precision route runner. Ricky has done a really good job in his rehab. He was out there in practice yesterday like Brock. He had a really good day. Let's see if he can finish this week, which he did. It would be great to have him back out there Sunday, which he will be. So kind of links up with what Greg Cosell said on Wednesday about the verticality of this offense and needing a guy like Ricky Pearsall needing a guy like Brock Purdy in order to kind of get to that level. In addition to that, we also learned about Brandon Aiyuk. We haven't talked about him in a little while. John Lynch was asked yesterday if there could be a scenario where this would be a redshirt year for Brandon Aiyuk and he can just focus on his recovery for next season. This is kind of similar, of course, because of what Matt Barrows reported, basically saying that he felt like it's possible that Brandon Aiyuk doesn't play this year and that they just get him, ready for the offseason program. And here's what John Lynch said. That is not the intention. The intention is to get Brandon back. We're not there yet, so we'll continue to have him excel with his rehab. We just have to get him to a place where we feel comfortable to open that window and see if he can make it back on the field. Basically just saying, our goal is to get Brandon Aiyuk back this season. That's what we're aiming for. That's what we're trying to do. And you can understand why we're paying him a lot of money. We want to see him out there on the field producing, obviously. The timing of that could not be better if he can make it back with a few games before the postseason. And what I'm hoping is that the lineup of him opening his practice window comes in the next week or two, and then you can kind of just let him practice with the team, with the ones and all that stuff on the practice field until you get to the bye week. That buys you a little extra time, and then maybe he's back after that. That would be amazing. Let's hope that that's the case. Brandon Aiyuk, NFL's most efficient pass catcher in 2023, and it wasn't particularly close. George Kittle, of course, also up there in the 2023 NFL EPA per target leaders. So just a reminder for some who seem very stained by his contract holdout, let's not forget who he was for the 49ers. Yes, the first few weeks of the 2024 season were bad, and it definitely didn't feel good. Everything felt bad around Brandon Aiyuk because of the holdout, because of the lack of quality play following the holdout. However, he was a great player for the 49ers. We'd like to see him get back to that level. Hopefully he can do that. Shanahan provided updates just a few minutes ago, as I told you earlier, and his updates, interestingly enough, included only one name on the injury report. That name was... Quick pause in the video for a message from this video's sponsor, which I'm stinking proud to tell you is Chomps. A while back, my wife bought me some Chomps. I'd never had it before and absolutely loved them. I got hooked on them immediately. 0 grams of sugar, 10 grams of protein, 100 calories, grass-fed beef. They come in a variety of flavors. The turkey's really good, too. I met someone yesterday who absolutely swears by the jalapeno. So there's something out there for everybody. Go give it a try. They're perfect on-the-go snacks for me. It's my favorite thing to bring to work. Sometimes I just eat them with my lunch. Sometimes I have them as a snack, and I absolutely love them. And as I've told you before, it's crazy to me because I did not like beef sticks growing up, and these things made me believers. If you click the link in my description and use my promo code, my friends over at Chomps are happy to knock off 15% off your entire order. You can throw them in your gym bag. You can throw them in your car. You can throw them in your backpack like I do, or you can just leave them in your desk at work. They're fantastic. I strongly encourage you to give them a try. Deommodore Lenoir. Deommodore Lenoir is the only 49ers player who is questionable going into Sunday's game versus the Arizona Cardinals. So there you go. Now, I have to caveat all of the injury stuff, of course, with the guys who are out for the season. So let's not act like, no more injuries. Yay, we're good. No, we're not full strength. You're not full strength without Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, etc. You need them, right? Michael Williams included in that mix as a player that you need, that you gave up a lot of first-round draft capital for, right? But that being said, considering the available players, it helps a little bit that the only guy on your current roster who's questionable going into the weekend, after all of these weeks of frustration, of every single day waiting for the injury update to see what it reveals, it's so nice that Demo is the only player who is questionable. Who does that mean is no longer on the questionable to return list? Alfred Collins is not on that list. D. Winters is not on that list. A lot of guys who have been really banged up lately. Alfred Collins missing the game last weekend, of course, because of it. Tatum Bethune not on that list despite being questionable last week. Coming into the game and playing, getting injured in the middle of the game, having to come back in, being fortunate he's able to come back in after being in the blue tent. So, look, you got to take your wins where you can get them. This is a win for the 49ers to have Tatum Bethune, D. Winters, Alfred Collins. You got these guys back. This is good for the 49ers. This is great news to me. Now, obviously, Demo is a hit. It's a big hit. I'm not trying to act like it's not a big hit, but I'll take our chances with one guy as our questionable, and maybe you can get away with it against an Arizona Cardinals team who is very depleted at the position, wide receiver position at the moment. Darrell Luter, I think David Lombardi makes the exact same point I just said here. Darrell Luter Jr. would start in Lenore's place for the 49ers. He's taken 122 defensive snaps already this year. Cardinals receiving group is depleted, so the 49ers may catch a break there. You do the best you can with what you have, and for once, you're looking at the other team's injuries and not your own primarily, right? And that has to feel good. The Niners get a lot of great news this week on the injury front, and they're trending in the right direction. And Demo has been on the questionable list, throughout the week a couple times now. I'm not exact. I think the last one was an ankle, if I'm not mistaken, but now it's a calf. Shanahan, was asked about Demo and what's going on with his calf, and they felt like it wasn't a big deal on Thursday, and they felt good about it. And then today, they were a little bit less happy about it, a little bit more of an injury than they anticipated, so they're doing an MRI to double check it. But he is officially questionable, which is a good sign, and Demo's definitely a guy who, if he does not, he did not practice today, right? Who could still go on Sunday if everything's okay tomorrow. If the MRI comes back good and everything's okay, he can be all right on Sunday. He will play if he's able to. We'll see, though. We'll see. And Darrell Luter Jr. is he is a backup corner in the league right now. Like that's his level. Okay. Renardo Green has had ups and downs. So I'm not saying this is like there's no bad news. Okay. Sometimes I feel like people see like my videos and they're like, I like to look at positive takes as much as I can. I'm an optimist. I can't help it. But I'm also a realist, and I realize that in this situation, Demo would be a downgrade to go from Demo to Darrell Luter Jr., of course. Like that's the point. That's why you pay one guy as much as you paid him, $98 million or whatever. I forget the exact numbers of his big fat contract from last year, but whatever. The overall news, the overall theme of things trending up for guys like Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall and Brandon Aiyuk and D. Winters and Tatum Bethune, and Alfred Collins. There's good stuff that came this week. Let's be hyped about that stuff as we're going into a game where we're going to need every single body we can get on the defensive line. We're going to need our linebackers healthy. We got them healthy. We're going to need Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall to elevate what our offense is capable of, because our defense is having to carry a heavy load, and they're very depleted just by way of losing your cornerstone players, your pillars. If you're without Demo, Fred Warner, and Nick Bosa, those are the pillars you built this defense around, right? You could throw, I guess you could argue, a Malik Mustafa in there, but I don't think he's had enough years of experience to where you could really call him a pillar. He was a great player last year, for a rookie. And we need to see him continue to elevate his play. And he's had some whiffs recently, which is interesting too. So all of that being said, I feel really good about the situation against the Arizona Cardinals. For me, this is a must-win game. I understand on paper it might not look like a must-win game, but you're going from 3-0 in the division, winning a lot of great games that were hard, tough wins that you ground out. Then you have, if you go 3-2 in the division, losing to the Cardinals, man, that's bad. Man, that's really bad, right? You can't take that division loss. You need every division win you can get. Division games are always difficult. So I'd like to believe the situation as it sets up for the 49ers is significantly better than what we thought it was going to be. And hats off to guys like Mac Jones for what they've contributed up to this point in the season. And most certainly, if you need him, knock on wood, you don't. But if you need him, you know what you have in Mac Jones, which is also a great position to be in when you're 2 days out from the Arizona Cardinals. You got 2 more division games left, and you're ending the season against the Seattle Seahawks. That's a tough game. That's a big one, right? So you've got to win this game for me. You've got an opportunity here with your guys mostly healthy, the vast majority of your team healthy. You've got an opportunity here to go out there and be a great offense. Yeah, we didn't talk about Ben Barch, by the way, another one who came back in the last 2 weeks from injury. You've got an opportunity here. This is huge, man. You win the next 4 games, all of a sudden you're a 10-win team, and the playoffs look very, very good for you. Very good. Then you have to take 1 of your last 3 games probably, right? 11 wins probably gets you there, right? 10, I'm not so sure. We'll have to wait and see how the next 4 weeks play out, of course, but I'm hoping the 49ers go out there and win all 4 of them. That would be amazing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, appreciate you guys to the moon, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Friday night.